brother! Jay, you know how we love Disney princesses around here at Super Carlin Brothers, and one of the questions we always get is, why do you leave out Anastasia? How come not Anastasia? Could Anastasia be a Disney princess? And while she does meet a lot of the necessary criteria to be a Disney princess, she fails on one very tragically, and that is, she's not from Disney. She's actually a product of Fox. So that's pretty much your answer right there. Although if you have been paying attention to the news, you know that this very week, Disney is in talks with Fox to potentially purchase out the entire studio. Now, if that deal does go through, she would be owned by Disney. So the question is, would she become a Disney princess? Anastasia, in case you need a refresher, is a 1997 animated film by 20th Century Fox Studios and was directed by Don Bluth. Don Bluth, who used to work for Disney until 1979, when him and 9 other key animators actually left the studio because they were tired of the churn 'em out attitude of Disney at the time. The movie tells the story of Anastasia, the lost Russian princess who in real life was believed to have survived the execution of the Russian royal family. But it was only believed that she survived the execution because her specific remains were never found. So the rumor that she was alive led to many people posing as her. The mystery has been somewhat put to rest though after her remains were found in 2007. In any case, in the movie she does survive with memory loss, of course, and there is magic and a love interest and songs and a talking bat.
Wow.
And man, it is so easy to see why this is so frequently confused for a Disney movie. That and maybe the rose imagery that's used throughout the entire movie, the reference to Cinderella inside the movie, the striking similarities to Belle and Ariel, the CGI clockwork from The Great Mouse Detective, or even the vines from Sleeping Beauty. So as much as it was trying to be at the time, it might actually get its wish and become a Disney movie. Which means we need to get back to the very important question at hand and figure out whether or not Anastasia could be a Disney princess. And as we've discussed on this channel before, there are certain requirements one character must meet in order to join the elite class of Disney princess. First, they must meet all 3 of the following criteria. 1, they must be the female lead in an animated Disney movie. 2, they must be human. 3, they must not have been introduced in a sequel. And 4, you must have an animal sidekick. We actually created that 4th one, but it holds true. Hashtag Snow is animals. Talking about Olaf. Then, if you meet all of those, you must meet at least one of the following. 1, be born royal. 2, marry royal. Or 3, perform an act of significant heroism. And finally, of course, the unwritten rule is box office performance, where you want to be good enough that you're not going to drag down the rest of the princesses, but not so good that the princesses actually somehow drag you down, which was the case for Anna and Elsa. And even if you do all of that, there is still no guarantee. We still haven't seen a coronation for Moana yet. I mean, seriously, Disney, how can you say no to this guy? He's so cute and also so underused. So again, back to our original question. How does Anastasia stack up? Well, she starts out pretty strong. She's human, the lead in an animated movie, and she has her own animal sidekick in the form of Puka. That checks off the first 4, and even though it takes her the entirety of the movie to realize it, she is also born royal. So far she's looking pretty solid, but how did she do at the box office? Actually, pretty dang good. Anastasia did nearly $140 million domestically at the box office. So since she came out in 1997, we'll just compare her to the rest of the Disney Renaissance movies. Now, that's some pretty stiff competition, and she comes in 6th just behind Pocahontas, but well ahead of Mulan and The Little Mermaid, who are both notable Disney princesses. She also crushed Disney's own release that year, Hercules, both in box office and in Oscar nominations. So we have a movie that was designed to imitate Disney, made by a guy who left Disney to make movies the way that he thought Disney should be making them. A character that fits all of the requirements and even beat out many other Disney princesses and even beat out the Disney movie that very year and now could be owned by Disney. She has to be a princess, right? Wrong. I dare say there is no way that Anastasia becomes a Disney princess, at least not the version of her that we actually know now. First of all, even though Anastasia was a success at the box office, Disney received exactly $0 out of that, and they were actually doing everything that they possibly could to ensure that it was not a success. To the point where they actually refused to advertise Anastasia during their TV program, The Wonderful World of Disney, and banned its corporate sponsors from airing film clips during their TV programming. On top of that, they released 4 major films right around the release of Anastasia. Flubber, George of the Jungle, Hercules, and the re-release of The Little Mermaid. Now, I highly doubt that Disney created these movies just to screw with Anastasia, and to be completely fair to Disney, they were in the practice of re-releasing their major films every 7 years. But that's certainly not how Fox saw it, with one of their key executives saying, "It's a deliberate attempt to be a bully. The amount they're spending on advertising is ridiculous. It's a concentrated effort to keep our film from fulfilling its potential." And it's possible that he had a point. Take, for example, The Lion King, which came out in June of 1994. Now, like we said earlier, Disney was in the practice at the time of re-releasing all of their major films every 7 years. So just take a guess when you think they re-released The Lion King. Yes! Exactly! It came out in June 1994, re-released in November 1994. Less than 6 months later, they released the same movie in the same year twice. That would be like if Cars 3 was coming out in theaters again, like next week. And why did they do this? Well, you could say it was to give everybody a chance to see the most critically acclaimed movie of the year again. Or it could have been to stop people from seeing the other 2 animated movies that would be coming out that fall, The Swan Princess and The Page Master. And I know what you're thinking. What is The Page Master? Exactly. This is a very powerful technique and completely worked. The Lion King buried the 2 other films. The week of its re-release, the second time this movie had been released this year, it did more than double The Swan Princess. Which brings us back to Anastasia and Disney possibly purchasing Fox. No, I do not think that she will be a princess. I really think the only way for that to happen would be for Disney to completely reboot the character with a whole new animated series, and I just don't see that happening. Because although Disney stands to gain a ton of new characters and franchises like X-Men, Fantastic Four, Predator, Alien, Planet of the Apes, and all of the rest, I'm sure they would make movies from them, but I don't think that's why they're potentially buying Fox. The real reason is not to compete, or in this case, totally defeat Fox, but instead, Netflix. Disney is currently in the process of pulling all of their properties from all of the existing streaming services with the intent of creating their own powerhouse of a subscription service slated to be released in 2019. A service that would make all of their properties available under one gigantic umbrella. That would include everything from Disney to Pixar to Marvel to Star Wars and potentially everything Fox owns. And maybe a new Anastasia movie. We'll see! For my question of the day, what do you think about this particular streaming service? Do you think you will have it and Netflix? Would you get rid of Netflix for it? Leave your thoughts in the towel section down below. Also, did you happen to notice our phrase of the day? If you do, bonus points if you can leave it in the towel section down below.
Psych level is high.
And a special thanks to these patrons who support SuperCarlinBrothers on Patreon.
Speaking of Patreon, if you haven't yet already, you should go check out our page to see all of the cool reward levels that Jay and I have available, including our Discord, which at $3 a month puts you in a chat room where you can just come and talk to Jay and DK and myself, and we have fun all the time. DK is our video editor. But guys, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to see some more Disney action from us, you can click right here to see us discussing whether or not Moana would go on to be a Disney princess, or right here to have the Disney Vault explained. But Jay, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.